Alright, so I guess the name of this video will be The Life of a Meat Eater. I eat meat and I've got books and just a lot of information and just living everyday life, books that I read and living everyday life. That's pretty much, I feel like I'm kind of going against the grains of my own emotions by eating meat. So I don't know. It's loyalty is love. Like Hit 'em Up Rondo said, loyalty is love, love is loyalty. I think, depending on the paradigms you have formed, it actually affects the way that people perceive you and the way you come off. If you smoke a cigarette, it is, down where I'm from, it is viewed as trashy. If you have, if you eat meat, it's a trashy thing, So I guess what I'm trying to say is, you see that? That's a bag of chips and some Gatorade. Shout out to Lay's, shout out to Gatorade. Um, I actually like to clean up. It's a beautiful thing, but if I'm eating meat and I'm viewing it as trashy or whatever the case is, love is loyalty, loyalty is love. I'm sweeping, right? You see all that trash on the floor, right? It's like, well, why care about trash if people are dying and stuff, right? There's my little sisters, they smoking weed, right? I started smoking weed on purpose and showed them that there will be people that will probably force you to do this based off their loyalty or based off the fact that it's a intimidating factor that they're trying to use. And there'll be things that you may be forced to do if you're not intellectual enough to understand, you know, certain subject matter and why, something exists here on this earth, then you'll take offense to it, on a physical or mental level. See, it's a sofa in here. They got rubber bands and ashes. Now, let me justify this with intellectualism. My little sisters were taught to throw ashes on the ground for their dead grandmother. The, the symbolism of this is a bit agitating for me as a person that wants to live clean. But if I'm still eating meat, then why be a clean person? It's something that I've been loyal to because it's something I grew up after. A lot of people cut cattle. It's not just a southern thing. Everywhere you go, there are farms. You know what I'm saying? That's how this whole world is. And I'm pretty sure that there are places everywhere you go. There, you can start a chicken farm, a cattle farm, anywhere. You got to respect the land. So that's why I'm stressing, right? I got some Buffalo Wild Wings over there. I like American Deli better, and it just depends on who's making them and how they're made. So I have an appreciation for specific restaurants, and I've got an appreciation and a depreciation for meat. I guess, you know, being that I have meat on myself, death is our karma for all of this. And I can tell by the way that in which that I speak that I'm stressing a bit. So from my understanding, when civilization start, I still got I'm reading books just based off superstition and all that, and I'm like, if I really want to change my life, it really is a conscious decision. It don't matter where you are, right? So I'm like, there's spots on the wall. It's up to me. I can either ask somebody else to do it or do it myself. Redo my whole house. I'm like, there's Home Depot, there's all these places. So now I gotta respect all these buildings because somebody built them. And I'm pretty sure they feel guilty depending on how smart they are on, using God's land. But can God really get mad at the creation of human beings? Not really. Because there's education. There's literally an intellectual capacity that we've built from all this stuff. You got beds, poles, wood. Human beings are really strong. It don't matter. People be out here having strokes and everything just from being overheated and their bodies surviving. It's courage building. Right now my Xbox 360, I'm about to send it to somebody else. I'm like, I fell on the floor, but I'm like, focus. It's like I said, death is your karma for anything that goes wrong on this earth. I grew up in this whole typical role of just being, a country bumpkin, and people be outside cutting cattle and saying, well, I feel guilty for doing this to our animals. And at the end of the day, the earth is still going to go around no matter what, and no matter how many people live here. And that's why people, I think, believe in reincarnation, because like once you die, they say you decompose. People that eat their babies and everything, if somebody's dead, they may come back. You never know. So that's what this is about. So I guess if I'm view myself as trashy because of smoke and appreciating earth and eating meat, I guess it really don't matter. I was trying to tell my little sisters, the majority of the things that I have in my racism is the reason why I'm a little fucked up when I be getting things from other people that I don't know. So, all these things that you learn when you have a kid, you can try to instill, try not to make them certain things that you learn about here on this earth when you're born, but just depend on the situation. At some point, I guess you will be humbled by life. If not, then you'll have a joyful life. And if you really justify everything by faith, then there's nothing that you can doubt. And what you have to realize is I could be in this apartment for the rest of my life. So there's lessons to be learned. What I learned was I was born into a situation. After I lost my virginity, I was viewed as feminine. After I was viewed as feminine, then I was viewed as a weak person. Then I do push-ups and okay, well then you're more than your dick craving or your lustful nature that you develop. But I'm like, in essence, we were all mental to begin with because people go to school. It's a structure here on this earth. So yeah, I can tell that I don't want to eat meat. Right now, I got a shit like hell because of eating meat. And it's just a certain level, you got to understand that all this shit is recyclable. Unlike the more that we learn, the more that we can clean up. And it's something that we got to do selflessly. I'm looking up videos of them burning, cutting up metal and stuff. I'm like, if I don't want to see trash outside and I say I got OCD, then I need to do something with that trash. Recycle it. So that's what I've got to learn. When you see these abandoned buildings, it's for use. But that's life. A lot of times, things are just going to be the way that they are. When people start taking losses, life don't feel the same. Like my little sister's dad, his mom is gone. Like, I can't enjoy life without my mom, so I'm just gonna keep living. There ain't really nothing I can do about it. I really could care less about anybody. So, you know, I guess, what I'm saying is everybody seemingly is living a certain type of lifestyle, but in reality, we all gonna go through something. So I guess it's an eye-opening experience just living life in general. When you have wrinkles and stuff, people say, well, you lazy, you don't run enough. I'm like, I really don't want to be a thin person. But that's exactly what I'm going to be if I run all this meat off. It's really a defense mechanism, right? You eat meat, you feel powerful, right? I'm eating meat. But what if somebody ate your ass? Because eventually it's going to happen. It's going to happen. You feel guilty. So I guess when I leave this earth, I just got to appreciate the fact that, I had a mom. That's the only person on this earth that I supposed to appreciate. I was thinking about walking to her house, but that's too goddamn long. And I'm not finna sit here and keep trying to be macho because I'm like, appreciating things like tobacco and water. Understanding the concept of inbreeding, like, ain't no telling who you belong to. You really do have to choose some type of way to cope. Faith and all that. So, we really are being macho in a sense. I'm like, some people really do go to church outside. There's certain things you can't do. Your body can't handle. So for people that have been trying to ruin my reputation, it can happen. You're gonna be most of some type of way on this earth, and if you never have, then that's not your experience. But I think that's the beautiful thing about life. When people are intuitive and they live and they learn, especially like the elders, you'll realize that that can help you. I can sit here and tell people all day, every day that I was born into dysfunction. But until that is proven, it won't matter to some people. I can tell that from an intellectual perspective, when they say femininity and masculinity, some people are really born into situations where they're kept safe, and then there's people that are not. So some of those people, like me, that are feeling inferior to people that think a certain way. I'm down here in South Carolina, and I feel like we all are animals. That's that vegan shit getting to me. Like, damn, I'm just like this animal. I'm walking every day on top of these ants and stuff, and one day I won't be able to handle the nature of my human existence, and I'm gonna leave this earth. All you can do is try. You know, I got schizophrenia because of just thinking too hard about shit. But that's what I tell my mind. You got to be stronger than that. I got to realize I got a mom and a dad. And regardless, people want to be good people. I'm like, I will never know if he's mine or not. My dad spit in my mouth and told me that I was his. And I'm like, at first, I wanted to take offense to that, but I'm like, that's really what it is. So, yeah, I was just thinking about a lot of shit. I'm like, it really is life. You just got to live this shit.